as a chartered financial planner, I've worked with probably thousands of clients over the last decade. And there's one consistency across pretty much everybody, and it's around how they created their wealth. Now, there is I think, a dangerous misconception at the moment that wealth is impossible to come by unless it's been inherited. But I've seen firsthand, like I said, thousands of people who have made wealth through hard work and smart financial decisions. Now, a lot of them worked with a financial planner from an early stage, some of them at a later stage, but those two things were consistent across all these people. And I think it's really important that we dispel this myth which has been floating around and has gained a lot of traction, particularly on social media, that the system's rigged and there's no point in trying hard because you're never going to be rich either way. Well, it's not true. So the term that I see on the news, on social media on a pretty much daily basis is wealth inequality. Now, I'm not here to say that that doesn't exist at all. But I am here to say that we still have agency and autonomy to change your own life. And the idea that you can't do that through working hard and a bit of financial education just doesn't stack up for me, because I've got too much evidence. I've seen it too many times for me to believe that that's not true. So going back to what these individuals have all done, there's loads of people I've worked with who've just had normal jobs. They're not earning hundreds of thousands of pounds a year. They've taken a trade, they've worked hard at it, and they've been smart with the excess money that they've earned. That's been pensions, it's been ISAs, it's been living relatively frugally. Now, I get that it's a slightly different world now, and marketing's a lot cleverer, and it's easier to spend your money, and it's much harder to track your money with digital currencies and your phones making most of your transactions. But by and large, the underlying trends are all still the same. The economic bedrock of how we earn money is still exactly the same. And although inflation has a drag on people's wages, and it feels like we're going through a bit of a difficult time as a country at the moment, I still feel that I've seen far too many examples of hard work and smart financial decisions giving people the wealth that they want. And when I'm talking about wealth, that's one more thing to address, because wealth in this social media age might look like, to most people, private jets and living in Dubai and spending loads of money on a garage full of supercars. Well, that isn't wealth. That's materialism. Wealth is the ability to have choices and financial freedom and to look after your family. That's what wealth has meant for centuries, and that hasn't changed, but the perception may have changed. Now, that is still attainable for, I think, pretty much anybody that's willing to work hard and educate themselves on how to make good financial decisions. Now, that might, for other people, mean engaging with a financial planner who can get them on the right track and putting a plan in place. But for a lot of people, it might just be digesting some content like this, or there's lots of other good content creators who create similar type of videos. I can probably count on two hands the number of clients that I've worked with who inherited their wealth through money being passed down from their parents or their grandparents. The vast majority of people I've worked with have just worked hard and made good financial decisions over a long period of time. That's the key. Consistency over a long period has put them in a position where they're firstly able to engage with a planner, but also have the ability to kind of do what they want in retirement. Now, that wealth, it might be different if I was dealing with ultra rich people. I'm dealing with people that are net value of somewhere between 400,000 and £2 million. Now, when you get to sort of retirement age, that's not unachievable at all when you start accumulating your pensions and your property values and your savings. So I'm not talking about mega rich people. That might be a slightly different kind of experience if I'm only dealing with people that are earning or have wealth of £50 million plus. The likelihood is in that category, that's either lucky breaks or there probably would be some inheritance. But in the collection of people I'm talking about, it's not about that. It's not about get rich quick schemes. It's not about investing in crypto. It's not about just striking lucky. It is simply about consistent behaviors over a long period of time. This inheritance myth, which is perpetuated in the mainstream by people like Gary Stevenson, who for some reason wants to kind of remove hope for the majority of people, and I don't buy into that at all. I just don't see that in what I do. So I don't buy it. I don't think that that is true. I don't think it's ever been true. And I think if you just commit to some financial education or engaging with a planner and putting a plan in place as soon as you can, so that you have time to continuously and consistently put some proper planning in place, then you'll get to where you want to get to. I think it's really important to address this wealth inequality issue, because there is this myth being peddled that you can't be wealthy unless it's been given to you. The idea that you can work hard and make good decisions and create wealth that way is impossible for the majority of people. I just don't believe that. And I've made a few videos recently around this wealth inequality issue, and it's really sort of taken off. And in the comment section, you can see this clear divide between those who believe that taxing people with wealth more is unfair and those that taxing wealth more is just, they should just do it and shut up. Well, I think that is to do with the narrative being created that you cannot be wealthy through your own hard work. Because if you believe that, then of course you're going to want the wealthy to be taxed more because you feel like they didn't even earn it in the first place. But that is just not true. So, and there is also this middle ground now where, again, when I was talking about what do you, or how do you define wealth? Well, the wealth that I see every day is not the mega rich wealth, which is assumed when people hear the word wealth these days. It's that middle ground of hardworking people who've made good decisions and been frugal throughout their lives to make sure that their families are going to be looked after when they've stopped working. Those people now feel attacked. And that whole generation of people who want to pass that message on are just getting sidelined by this very, very loud political movement that is trying to convince everybody that hard work and smart decisions doesn't create wealth. Well, like I said, from my experience, it's just not true. Now, of course, I'm not trying to say that there are people out there who have worked hard and therefore should be wealthy, because of course there are lots of people out there who are working hard every single day who would not consider themselves wealthy. I'm not trying to say that. What I am trying to say is that hard work and smart decisions over a long period of time, in my experience, have demonstrated that wealth can be created. And just to come back to it, that's wealth in the context of owning your own home, looking after your family, having liquid assets that you can draw an income down from, and having financial freedom in retirement to have the lifestyle that you want. So remember, wealth is built quietly, slowly, in the background, and it compounds over decades. And to you, that means that the system isn't rigged. You do have agency, and you do have control over your future.